It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and today is a birthday for this beautiful little garden in Normal Heights. This is its first birthday. We haven't been here in a year, so how fun to see what's growing on, right? Let's start over here with Blonde Terri. Hey, Blonde Terri.
Hello.
So there's the prerequisite. Our client's done a great job of keeping up with the weeds, but you know, it's tricky for clients to get after the weeds that pop up in the barrel cactus. And we know that we just take a trench shovel, we dig underneath, we pop the cactus up a little bit, release the weeds and set the cactus back down. Pretty easy fix. Oh, wow. This side, now this side is fairly protected. I think it stays in a lot of dappled shade probably most of the day, and it is on crack. I mean, how happy is this? Oh my gosh, the depth, the interest, the elevations, the rock, the happy plants. This is obviously Mangave. It is not Lavender Lady. It is Silver Fox? No, it's not Silver Fox. Crap. Oh well, help me out in the comments. There's some pups on it. I think we're gonna let those pups ride this year. This tapestry all looks tight. The cotyledon here is a little stressed for reasons unknown to me, but we'll see, you know, how that goes. I love this undulata. This is what they do, guys. See how they undulate, how they just kind of create their own rounded, interesting shape without any intervention. These are Fred Ives, Graptivaria Fred Ives that I brought from my garden in Chula Vista, and they are super happy. And our Bacarnia recurvata, look at that. Happy, 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 happy camper. This is a plant over here that was here. I did not plant this. This is that dwarf Ruchia. And I wasn't really sure about it or whatever because it was very small and wasn't doing a whole lot. Now I get it. I really like it. It's a great tight little ground cover, and this is exposed. I mean, this is right on the corner in the hot sun. It gets the dogs, it gets the foot traffic, everything. Great little ground cover. We'll keep our eye on that. The Portulacaria minima, remember this is the one that I prefer really to the variegata in that it stays lower. That doesn't mean it doesn't need maintenance. Look at how it has run amok. So, did it take over? I don't even see the mammy. Oh gosh, yes, look at this. There's a little mammillaria right here. Not that you'd know it. So remember with the Portulacaria, look at that little nobilis. This one I handle like traditional. I just trim it from the ends. I don't dig it out, cut it, and reset it. It grows so rapidly too that you can't really screw it up. So one trick of the trade is to cut from the bottom underside. Watch this, see? Then I can take these top pieces and lay them back down. And see, that way it doesn't look like it's been cut. So that's kind of how we do that, is we lift up, we cut from underneath, and then set the top back down. The, all of the, you know, the fussy little sedums, graptosedums, pachyphytums, pachyvarias, they've all done terrific. This echeveria is doing spectacular, and look at the ruby slippers. Now we've got an issue here too with first world problems. Look at all the overgrowth, you know, how these plants are growing onto the sidewalk. So remember, we're here just once a year, so we have to deal with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this sedum altogether. Yeah, look at that. See how much better this looks? Look at that. And then I'll cut the little rubrotinctum back so we still can leave a little of that. There we go. Now what I've done effectively is I've exposed a snail, spawn of Satan, get out of there. I've exposed a little bit of rock. See, doesn't that look so much better? These are the sweetest little blooms too on this packy. So these plants, which are extremely viable, can now be worked in other places. So fix that, and then I'll get over here. Here's an example of a nice bloom. The bees love this guy. And here's a spent bloom. See the difference? So the spent bloom, I'm going to cut back hard, all the way to the base, as far back as I can go. And now all of these little leaves here could, if you were so inclined, be propagated. You can pull these off, and you can set them in a tray of dry potting soil, just like that. And what will happen in time, if you're lucky, in the shade, is that they will pop off little plantlets right here where they have been released from the mom in these areas here. So you don't want to do this. That's a no. You do this, because this is where you're going to get your new little plant. Okay. Sorry about that noise. That's the street sweeper.
Oh wait. Well,
Yeah, that's kind of an example.
stop looking.
See that? That's what they do. Tiny little
That's the leaf,
plantlets.
too.
That's
Look,
the,
it's-
oh, here we go.
it's
This
dead.
one's still attached. See that? So you take your little leaf.
This one's attached too, but you didn't notice it.
Yeah, the leaf is all dried up. But here we go. And see how the plantlet works? All of the moisture in here, all the food in here is directed that way to create a new plant. And then in time, this leaf just desiccates like this. Now these, because mom's done and there's that mom leaf is done, this would be ready to plant because there's nothing left in there. So this could then, just be planted like so. Oh, I digress. Stop, Laura, stop. Oh, and here's big Ruchia. This is big brother right here. You see it's larger, the leaves are thicker, it's more substantial than the dwarf carpet. I think it's called Carpet of Stars, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, all right, and these cotyledons, this still looks good. We got some weeds to pull out of there. This Mangave snow leopard, we are going to take that back by about 50%, make that one smaller. The plumeria in the back have been holding on to their leaves despite the cold temperatures. And the agave attenuatas just look so beautiful. These we didn't plant, these were here, and we just left them alone. Remember, we got that gigantic storm too, but it didn't seem to impact this garden negatively in the least. Here's a volunteer growing in this jade that we will cut out. These jades were here. I just kind of laced and thinned them. The little pocket planters of cacti that we placed look fantastic. Very happy. This is all xeriscape too. There's no irrigation in here. The Desmediana Joe Hoke is Joe Hoking itself. Look at that. It will eventually bloom out, but hopefully not for a minute because that's a showstopper right there. Loving the Lemerii back there. The Cameroni eyes, I think we'll leave those alone this year. Next year, because that grows in a stand and they pup out to the sides, it'll probably be a lot fuller and we'll want to cut it up and do some resetting. But I think we're okay this year on that. And the little mammillaria that I planted in the tipped pot, I wasn't sure if that was going to work or if the mammillaria would grow weird, but it's growing just fantastic. It is so incredibly geometric. That plant is stunning and it looks really good and is showcased beautifully in that tipped pot. Then these aeoniums, these erbicums, they were here, I think, and we just repurposed them. And look at that. That's what I call a necklace. There is a Aloe grenadiensis behind or in that stand of aeonium. But that's another one. I don't know. You think we should let it ride? Yeah, Hannah thinks it's pretty. I'm just always thinking ahead a year. What's it gonna do? But I really would hate to disrupt that vignette. That is nice, and it's balanced really well with the one behind it too. Now our Aluaudia procera, you can see, is pretty much naked, still holding on to a few leaves. But this is typical in the winter months when the temperatures drop and the soil gets cool. It tends to drop its leaves. It's starting to throw off a lot of arms, and in time that will need to be dealt with for sure. Here's another area where we need to tighten up along the sidewalk. Here too. These,
We're also here.
yeah, these attenuata were also here. I think we'll cut this one off.
We thinned them out a bunch last time.
Yeah, we thinned a ton of them out last time when we did the installation. I think just that one coming out would be good. And our succulent fountain overall looks great. There's a few casualties in there. So we're going to straighten it up. It listed a little bit.
We could probably get some more cuttings.
And then we'll have so many cuttings in this garden. When we're done, we'll be able to pop them all into the fountain. It'll be great. More Portulacaria here that needs thinned. Now this Mangave jaguar did not grow as prolifically as the snow leopard did, which surprises me. So I'm feeling pretty good about this guy. I don't think we need to do anything to that. And look at the corn cob. This is the prettiest one I've ever seen. This is a euphorbia, and it's kind of a persnickety plant. It's kind of can be prone to fungal infections and whatnot, but that is stunning. I don't see a mark on that plant. And then here is another lavender lady. She's a little smaller, a little more diminutive. And then our bougainvillea, I brought some systemic today, and I'm going to treat this bougainvillea. It's not dormant, you know, there's still some action, and it's still some loopers, some little, those tiny little green worms that get on it. But I can see leaves growing up topside, so this thing is getting ready to pop off. And now would be, right before it pops off, is a really good time to fertilize. So I will be both fertilizing and treating for pests. Now, our Bracteosa, it's actually in really good condition. It's just there's a lot of dead bougainvillea leaves on it. So once we get the bougainvillea leaves cleaned out of there, that's going to look great. Yeah, it's got four infants. Then over here on this street side, you know, we didn't do a lot here except add some boulders and top dressing, stage some of her beautiful terracotta pots. This one is looking great. We put in a few barrel cactus too. And then we have Julian over here. She did ask that we remove these rocks. This wasn't an area that we did, but she was getting tons and tons of weeds. So Julian is going to be putting weed fabric down and then throwing these rocks back on. It'll help. You know, it won't be a cure-all, but it will help dramatically with keeping the weeds at bay. So we got our work cut out for us. We better get to it, and we'll catch you on the flip. Wow. So we are done. Blonde Terri has some Mangave snow leopards to take home. The client has Mangave snow leopards. I grabbed a couple Mangave snow leopards. So great day in the garden. We got the fountain leveled, and Hannah got it all fluffed up with leftover cuttings. So that was awesome. Julian got all those rocks pulled out, weave fabric put down, and all the rocks put back. And that looks fantastic. Over here, I just cleaned up the Bracteosa. We hit the bougainvillea with a systemic drench to really inspire it to leaf out, since it's clearly wanting to. We also hit some of the plants that just looked a little peaked with a systemic, just for funsies. There's nothing, you know, wrong with it, but it just looks like it's struggling a little bit. This one too, so we hit it. And Terri and Hannah tightened up these tapestries to perfection. The color, oh God, we all keep commenting on the color. It's so spectacular. There's that little euphorbia that I mentioned that was in the tapestry, and Hannah pulled it out and stuck it in the landscape so that it can grow there and be a feature. We talked to the client and decided to leave the aeoniums alone this year. She understands that in the summer when they go dormant and they drop a lot of leaves, that she'll clean up. And then next year when I come, we may make some decisions about that. I didn't even notice that variegated agave back here, or maybe that's a yucca. No, that's needles, that's variegated needles and strings, yeah. So that's something that could get moved into a place of prominence. Like if this Desmediana blooms out, that could possibly move here. Our client is also really interested in starting to edit out some of her terracotta pots along the side, and maybe doing more collectible cactus now that we know that even the mammillarias are doing well here. Sometimes they can be a little persnickety, but they are thriving here. I really, thinned out this mangave. Like I said, I just got in there with a shovel, loosened it up, and then pulled out the pups. Easy peasy. This got a makeover too. So we got all of the little tapestry plants away from the sidewalk, exposed these adorable little mangaves, got this area over here, or mammillarias rather, got all these, all this area over here all tidied up, got into the parking strip, did weeding, and fluffed up the jades a little bit. But really, I mean, this parking strip is gorgeous, and it's so simple, right? I mean, look at that. It just has so much character. I love this. So yes, and we also treated these cacti here in the pots. You can see we had some scale, and we have some yellowing here. So they're not super thrilled with their location, but we did treat them both topically and with a systemic. So hopefully they will bounce back. We were talking that we think the reason why these plants are doing so spectacular is the breeze. There's just a constant breeze blowing through here, and it keeps the temperatures mild, which is so important. It's not the heat so much or the sun that gets the succulents, it's the temperature. So if you can cool your plants down by providing some shade in their dormant periods or when it's really hot, it'll go a long way to protecting them. So for Julian, Hannah, Terry, and myself, this has been the first anniversary maintenance in Normal Heights and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.